Hello, Jaiva Nation. My name is Trudy Musima. I'm excited today. I'm here in Houston, Texas, in the US. And I just felt I should tell you about the origin of Jaiva game, where this whole thing started. Because people just hear the words flying around Jaiva game, Jaiva, firstly, it means dance. It's a slang language we use in South Africa to say dance, you are dancing or dance. So it means Jaiva, not Java. No, Jaiva. That's what the game is. It's a universal dance game. Its aim is to promote all dance styles. So we don't have this thing that in this ground there's only going to be hip hop or pantsula or ballet or ballroom and all that. It is designed for all dance styles in the world. So now we saw this gap that we have to have one universal game for this industry, so it can actually, the industry can actually get to unite one umbrella and have one product that can actually sell the industry and make it compete at the level of soccer and rugby. So the whole story started in Kwatema Springs. It's in a district called Ikuruleni. It's in South Africa, a country called South Africa. That's where I'm from, but I'm originally from Limpopo. My name is Trudy Musima. I'm the inventor of the game. So it started as a dream. I actually left school that day. I bunked or dodged school that day, and I actually went back home. And as usual, being a young person, being naughty, you want to make sure that the parents or your guardian don't know that you left school. I slept on a bed. I had a bed in my aunt's house where I actually slept there, still wearing a uniform, just to make sure that if anyone gets in, I can tell them that no, I just arrived like you guys, So I slept on my bed, and I started having this dream, and there was a lot of kids, and there was this young child, and he came to me and said, "Look, my guy, I want to be a professional dancer, like as an athlete." And I was like, it is not happening. Your dance is an art, it's not a sport. Basically, you're gonna have to check the theaters. Maybe something can come out for you. And this child was so adamant in the dream that he wants to do this, and as an athlete, like your soccer players, your rugby players, and all those kind. So I had to now I was curious when after waking up, what is this dream? I mean, why will this child tell me? He knows very well that I'm a soccer player. Why will he tell me about he wants to be a professional athlete? I'm like, in dance, how is that going to be possible? All right. So I actually told my cousin. Her name is Nelly Siwekaba. Most of them friends call her as Nelly. She stays in Kwatema, and a street called September there. That's where we used to grow up. So she told me to go and buy a book and write everything down. The best advice she has ever given in my life, and I will never forget it. And boom, I went to a local store there, and I bought the book. I started writing this thing. But by the way, when I started, I had no skill of what is a sporting code. I had no skill on how to structure it. All right. So that's why over the years, it took time for me to read a lot of books. I had to check your FIFA, lots of the games book. I read a lot of it, the cricket and also basketball. I read a lot of those books to actually check how the laws are structured, because I have to answer the question, what is an infringement, what is the sanctions, those kind of things, how to draft the law. And I actually learned. It was a self-taught process which took over 15 years, and took me time, because at that time we had no mentors. If you have a mentor right now in business, you're lucky. I started, and the way it was not easy to wake up and find a man or a woman and they say that person can help you invent a game or write a game. So this field was not actually taken serious. In fact, when you're in sports, no one takes you seriously. It's not seen as a career. So now I went through this book, man. I wrote my name there. You can see it's an old book, man. I wrote everything. I put everything in here. You can see that I just started. you know, I didn't know what I was doing, what this dream was all about, but I just had a fire on intuition that I have to follow it through, and I did it. And today, now I know when you go to our social media pages and other platforms, you actually get to see the fancy version of it. Because over, I think it was 2019 if I'm not mistaken, or 2018, I actually went to some guy called Katleho. He's an animator. He actually did the 12 video a demo of Jaiva game. What you see on YouTube on our channel, it's basically his work. He actually, I gave him an idea of and drafts on how I want the game to be interpreted or illustrated, and he actually did everything. So yeah, man, this is it. Let me show you how everything started. Right now you see everything fancy. You know, we have the law of the game. One is a dance field. It's about the ground. Man, I wanna show you the ground, how it started. I know right now you guys will see colors, red. I was not even thinking at that line at that time. I was not thinking of anything. I was not thinking of colors, measurements and everything. I was not in that energy, you know. I was still learning. I was just young. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just doing my thing as a young person. You can see here, put measurements and those kind of things, and I tried my best. You can see that I tried to put my fingerprint, because at that time I didn't know anything about what you call copyrights. I just did what I had to do at that time. So the aim is that I start, man. I even called one of the guys a few months later, called Estesh. I don't know if he's still around. If he's still around, holla at me, my brother. I told him about what this thing is, and years later I just saw a lot of competitions like Chigama Chiga on TV, and I was like, no, this is not what I meant. This is not how it should be. This should be a proper game. Like, your soccer and rugby must be well structured. You must have all sporting code systems in place, but over the years I was thankful that no one actually was able to implement the idea, and they were just all doing it all wrong, and I actually stuck to it. And today, now we even have a demo. You can go there and just Google or Jaiva game, or go to our YouTube channel, Pro Jaiva TV, and just check a Jaiva game video. You will be shocked that from a rough idea, everything was just missed. You can even see this book is like worn out. It's very old because it's been around for years. Me writing stuff on it, walking around with it, carrying it from one state to another state or province. So that's exactly what I was actually kind of like working with. So the aim of the game was just to help the dance industry so they can have their own universal sporting code. They can compete at the level of soccer and rugby and everything. So I realized that it is more profitable, or it will make sense for us as a dance industry to actually have something of our own, a universal game that doesn't discriminate any type of sporting code or music genre. You know, the aim was that to create a ground that can take any kind of dance style, whether it's your hip hop, panzula, kwasa, any dance style you can think of the world. So the ground was designed in that way. So you can see that we even make sure that to make sure that athletes teams can have their own technical area, the opposing team or the opponents, the judges here, and observers, we call them. In soccer they call them referees, we call them observers, because here they are not going to be using any whistle. They will be just observing and ticking the points and checking if both the dance team participating, they are actually adhering to the law of the games or the anatomy of how the game should be. So over there it was just about writing the laws, creating an anatomy or a format, they call it a format these days, of how the game should start and end. So that's basically Jaiva game. So I wanted something that can go universal, that no one in another country will say, yeah, but no, it's promoting this type of culture or dance sport. It is not for where our dance styles, our cultural dance styles are not accommodated. That's why the focus is not on dance styles. The focus is on building a system, a platform, a structure where everything can be put in one together. And even the consumers, the supporters, they don't have to go to different games, go and watch hip hop there, banzola competition, and they can just get in one ground and actually get everything well packaged. So that was the game. So that's the history of this beautiful game, man. You can see I was in grade 11, 207, yes. It was a Tuesday on the 12th of 06, 207. It was Tuesday, so the game was invented and everything started, was actually get to be documented. Even though some of the things were still improving on them, you can see even here from the book, it just started only as a triangle or rectangular. We didn't have measurements, no colors. I was not even thinking of colors. I was not even thinking of parameters. I was just trying to actually come up with something that can help the industry move forward. So right now we are done with the game. If you can Google a Jaiva game video, you will actually get to see it. It's an animated video. So now we are worried about monetizing the game and making sure that we distribute it all over the world, people can see it. So that's basically, that is what it was invented on the 12th of June 2007, all right, in Guatemala Springs, in South Africa. So it's one of the product, or one of the export that me as an inventor of the game, I'm very proud of to export to the world. And as we also import other games, I hope the world will be happy to export Jaiva game, because we are not there to actually impose a certain particular sporting code or culture. We're just bringing the game, then you can put your own country dance styles, music and everything. And we hope that it will be the best thing that you have ever experienced. Is the best product, well packaged, with a proper ground, proper judging systems, DJing, live music, live performance and everything. So I hope that 5 years from now, when you're doing your assignment and someone is asking you, where did this whole thing started? It started in Guatemala by an inventor, or a dance sport inventor called Trudy Musima in South Africa. So I thank you very much for being here. I thought I should make sure, as part of our archives, we have something like this, where the next generation can know how this thing started and what was the aim behind it. All right, thank you very much. Hey, tada.